Welcome to episode 6 of Buy the Damn House podcast. I am Christina Joy.
I'm Grace Carpenter, and in this episode, we're just going to have a continuation of episode 5, where we talked in detail about home staging. And in this episode, maybe just a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of home staging, maybe the psychology of home staging a little bit.
How come I do not want to be an interior designer?
Oh, yes.
And also big changes for Grace.
Yes,
Find out.
Big changes. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Let's pick up right where we left off,
Okay.
because it was very juicy.
Yes.
We were talking about staging and the real estate business and how important staging is. And there's so many fun little tips and tricks that we could go over. But we also decided that maybe I'm just gonna let you have my business because I'm ready to let it go. And I have a really successful staging company. I've had it for 7 years, and I have all this inventory, and I'm in Phoenix, you're in Palm Springs in the desert, and we could just fill a giant U-Haul and just bring you everything. I'm talking art, rugs, lamps, you name it. It could be there. And that's just really exciting to me because
so
we could do an inventory.
Yep, exactly. Do an inventory. And after that podcast, when we talked more about the details of it, we were like, why get another person involved when here we are, and we could maybe even just be business partners, right?
Absolutely.
And like kind of partner into it where it gradually fades into my business.
Right.
But for now, you can help me, teach me, you get part of the money, like whatever, you know what I mean? And so it's a win-win situation.
Right.
And then eventually, it's my business and it's off your hands. Like, and instead of, it's like the most epic timing.
The timing is impeccable.
I can't even because you're moving to Italy. I actually
know.
was like, I didn't even think about that. But what are you going to do with this whole thing? You could displace it all over on Marketplace, but how much,
you know what I was doing? I furnished 3 houses in Memphis. I filled up a whole bunch of shipping pods and brought a whole bunch of furniture there. But I still have a full warehouse, 2 storage containers that are 10 by 20, and 4 staged houses right now. So my inventory is insane.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest part is I could just be like, here you go, here's enough for 7 houses, and all the pieces play together.
Right.
So this rug can work for 10 sofas and 10 coffee tables, and you know what I mean? Everything kind of works together,
because one of your passions is finding items.
Yes, that's literally why I became a stager. Is I have a thrifting addiction. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I love estate sales. I love thrifting. I will jump in a dumpster if something looks good. I have no shame.
Anyone who follows you on TikTok knows all of your amazing stories about your finds.
So TikTok's so funny to me because I don't take it really seriously. It's literally just for fun. But I went viral for this one painting I found in a thrift store where I thought it was a famous painting. I had recognized the signature at the bottom. And so I put it out there on TikTok, and Antiques Roadshow responded, and then I ended up getting an Antiques Roadshow ticket and going, and it was an authentic painting, but someone who had owned it previously superimposed a cat into the picture that wasn't an original part of the piece. So they didn't put it on the show because it wasn't just an authentic piece. It was kind of bastardized. But the art dealer who talked to me, he made a TikTok about it afterwards. He said it was his favorite piece of the day, and he thought it was worth a little bit more because of the cat. Because it was so weird.
So random.
And the cat has weird paws. I mean, paws are really hard to paint. I get it. But they almost look like sloth paws or something. I don't know. It's really awesome. But I find really cool stuff all the time. So I'm always putting it on my TikToks, all the cool stuff I find.
And so, because obviously I'm going to be I'm going to be your understudy and taking over and your business will not die.
Right.
I can still shop. You can still shop and then just send it to me, or I'll get it and I'll add it to my inventory. And so you still get to do what you love.
Yes.
Obviously, we'll do a thing, I'll make it worth it. You know what I mean? For you to find stuff.
I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah.
The most fun part about being a thrifter and being a picker is being able to put those things to use. Because I'm not really a hoarder. It's for my business.
Exactly. You can just keep buying everything.
Right.
And then I'll just keep storing it. And
yes.
Yeah, it's like the most incredible. I can't even get over it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like, but this is what I'm saying, because I mentioned in the last podcast, I feel like, and literally, I cried the other morning in gratitude, just because I feel like, for whatever reason, right now, I know I'm going to look back in this time of my life and just be like, wow, that was fucking rad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like because things are just flowing, and I have goosebumps because of my gratitude. Like I can't even wrap my head around it. Like,
Christina, this is where the best things are born.
Yeah.
And the best ideas are the ones that scare you a little bit.
Yeah.
But also just make you feel totally alive.
Right.
Honestly, you're gonna love staging.
Oh, I
you're
already
gonna love
did the other day.
More than real estate. Like, well, okay, if you're anything like me.
Yeah.
So my experience was I was a realtor for many years because of being a flipper, right? But I would stage my own houses, and I loved staging my own houses.
Oh my God, we could stage my flip. That would be like for
Absolutely.
sure. Like, I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We both have flight benefits because we're both still flight attendants. So I can just pop over, help you stage, fly home. Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm actually really, really proud of you. I think that the part that you might not understand yet about staging versus buying and selling real estate is it's a sure thing.
Right.
So when you get hired to stage, that seller is on the hook to pay you whether the house sells or not.
Right.
You are providing a service, just like
if
you're
like
a plumber.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've only had to threaten this 3 times in my entire life, but you are allowed to put a contractor's lien on a property for non-payment. And it's actually in my contract. Recourse for non-payment is a lien or other measures.
Sure.
You could sue someone, but it's never come to that.
Yeah.
In my contract, it's the home, proceeds are due when the home is sold or when it's removed from the market. Like if somebody decides to rent it out, they still have to pay the stager.
Okay, so question. In the desert, sometimes things are taking a while to sell.
Yeah.
Like 60 days, 90 days.
Yeah.
How long do you give them?
My contract says, and I'm super seller friendly because I am a flipper first. Like that's the flipper brain. So I'm always really seller friendly. I say after 3 months, we're going to do a reevaluation. Some pieces might need to be swapped out for my new projects, but I will not remove all the furniture until you tell me to.
Okay.
So I let it sit there.
Okay.
I consider houses that take a long time to sell free storage. I know that sounds terrible, but I know where everything is.
Right.
Right? And so, and I can call a seller and say, hey, this house has been on the market a while. Can I swap out that dining table?
Right, I really need it. Right.
I really need it for this other project. Sellers are so happy to do that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Doesn't matter to them as long as it looks good, right?
And I find sellers to be so amiable, and it's totally different than doing interior design for somebody's primary residence.
Yes.
Somebody's primary residence, they want to pick every single rug, every single flower, every single whatever, and the process takes 8 to 10 months to a year. Staging takes 3 days. And it's, you don't really have a say. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm the stager. I'm staging so the buyers are happy. You're hiring me for my expertise. I'm coming into an empty house. I'm going to do what I think will showcase the house, look great in photographs. You sometimes have to explain that to sellers, and agents explain that to sellers. No, this is going to photograph well if we do it this way.
100%. I'm so grateful for my contractor who got me into interior design, because that put me on the trajectory. Trajectory of this whole path.
Right.
Because it got me, like, I loved it, and I made money. It got me money. It got me out there, and then I started working on homes of people that were flipping, and so it's like a whole process, right? You gotta, like we said, put yourself out there. But wow, I do not want to be an interior designer.
No.
That has been really hard.
Yeah.
Like, because I have
clients are hard.
Because like you just said, like, oh my God, there's a wall and I know exactly what to do with that wall. I'm like, put wainscoting, put the picture, like it's good. And then literally, Grace, 2 months later, we're going in circles because they're like, I don't know, and then all of a sudden 2 months later, we're putting wainscoting in a picture because they finally come. You know, but it has to be their. I don't know.
It has to be their idea. And sometimes, maybe it's my weird brain, but I can see a room put together. What makes me a good stager, what's going to make you a good stager, is I can walk a property, or now I've done it so long, a realtor can send me photos of a space, and I can go in my warehouse and pull a whole box truck full and be like, this rug will work, this sofa will work, this coffee table will work, these chairs will work, because all my furniture plays together really nicely anyway.
Yes.
And when I get there, I can still leave room and maybe bring an extra chair, extra lamp or whatever, but I can do it so fast because I've done this so long and it's formulaic. There are things that are always going to work in every instance. And there's so many like rules, but you're not dealing with sellers that are like, why'd you use that picture?
Yeah, exactly. They don't care.
No.
Yeah.
Sellers are like, please sell my house. Yeah. Please make it look amazing. I want top dollar. Done.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, and then what is amazing is that, so this guy that I met at this event, he's like, well, I call expireds. That's his way he got all those listings,
sales,
right? Yeah. Is because you call expireds, meaning homes that have expired that didn't sell in the time frame they wanted. So what I'm going to do is staging, because, and you said, I mean, who knows? I mean, of course, everyone knows I'm a brand new agent. Like I've only been doing an actual agent for 2 months, 6 weeks. So I don't know yet. I could love it. I could hate it. But what I'm going to use the staging for is I'm going to call the expireds, and I'm going to first say I'm a stager, right? So it's not going to be like, oh, I'm a real estate agent, I want to try to sell your house. You know, I'm sorry that one didn't work out. It's like, no, I'm a stager.
This sets you apart.
Right.
Not everyone, so I take it for granted, and I know that you do too, not everyone can do what we do.
Right.
Not everyone can go in and say, this is what will make a space beautiful. And I take it for granted, but staging helps, and people need us. I provide a service people actually need, and they're grateful for it, and they're happy to pay me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So really, I'm hoping to like call these expireds, put myself out there as like, okay, I'm going to come in, I'm going to stage your house, and I'm going to list it. So like, I'm going to get like both sides.
And you're going to do
and
really
I'm
well.
gonna help them, because it's like, and that's the most beautiful part, is that they obviously needed it.
Right.
That's why their house didn't sell, or whatever reasons. But
you can cherry pick the people that you're going to call.
Right.
So it's very generic, very genuine, not generic.
Right.
And you can bring up their listing and be like, you know, can I just say, because I'm a home stager, that I think this house would be showcased so well if there was furniture in it, so that people can imagine how to put their own furniture in it. Because on the listing photos, you're probably not getting showings because it's just white box after white box. Let's make every room show its intended purpose.
Right.
Like I always stage one room as an office, or one room as a kid's room, one room as a primary bedroom, one room with a queen bed. And I really try to showcase something different in each room. Also, when a house is completely empty, buyers walk in and go, that wall's scuffed. There's a chip in this.
The tile.
Because that's the only thing to look at.
Yes.
If you put staging in it, those are just little superficial tiny things. So they're able to just see the house as a whole, right? And it's not deceitful. It's more realistic, because when you move in, yes, you're going to notice like a scuff in the wall, and you can take a magic eraser and wash it. But is that a reason to not buy a house? No, but it does stop buyers.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No.
It does. Because it's an emotional like for most people, they buy homes based on emotion. And so that's the fun part about the kind of staging I do, because I use a lot of thrifted finds and stuff I find in Europe, and really
character.
like
Lots
warm,
of character,
cozy,
history.
eclectic. You could walk in and be like, is this staged, or does a really cool person live here?
Right, exactly.
That's my vibe.
Here.
So thank you very much.
Welcome. It's just flowing from you. You need to hydrate.
I love it.
Yes.
Yes. No, staging with really fun, eclectic pieces and not just a bunch of boring crap. And don't worry, like there's plenty of Target stuff and all that stuff. But like special, interesting things keep people in the house longer. And while they're in the house longer, feeling out all the cool stuff they're looking at,
getting more attached to the house.
That's when they get more attached. This is a psychological trick. Are you ready? I never put like traditional place settings at the bar or the table. Sometimes people do that, like at a breakfast nook or a bar, because when people decide they're going to write an offer, they decide to sit down, and they're less likely to sit down if there's some sort of like floofy place setting there. So I explain that like it's the psychology of buying too. That wine glass with the crisp napkin sticking out of it and all that bullshit, it keeps people from wanting to sit down. The second they sit down, an offer is coming.
Right. Because they want to feel it. They want to be in the space.
Let me just sit in this bar stool and just imagine you cooking in that kitchen.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Put myself here.
Yeah.
Well, that is one thing. Is this, okay, tell me if this was an accurate thing to say. So when we were going through this staging thing, there were these pictures, and they were cute pictures of the family, and he was like, that can stay. I was all gone. I was like, I don't want to see one picture.
No.
And I was kind of course, fake it till you make it, because I didn't really know this. So I was like, no, I was like, listen, it's psychological. I was like, if I see a picture of another family in this house, it's not mine. It's not my house. So I was like, gotta go. Every single personal picture has got to go.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Good, I was right.
And every personal hygiene item.
Right.
Every single toothbrush, toothpaste, hairspray. What I tell people that are selling their house that are still living in it is get a bathroom caddy and put all your essentials in there and put it under your kitchen sink, because nobody wants to see that stuff when they're going through a house. Wet towels, like you just took a shower and you hang it up. Absolutely not.
Horrible.
Those all have to go. Wet bathroom rug, wet towels. You absolutely understand the psychology of buying. There's another little thing that I read right when I was first starting out in staging. Always have a couple of empty hangers in a closet.
Oh, so I can put my stuff there.
Even if the closet's full of stuff, put some empty hangers in there, because it's a symbol of like, your stuff can go here.
Again, like we said, energy, right? Creating the space.
Exactly.
I'm putting my energy in here. I'm imagining myself in here.
Yes.
And it may be inconvenient for the seller, yes, but it's like, okay, well, what do you want to do? Be inconvenienced for 60 days and make $10,000 more?
Yeah.
Like, what is the inconvenience worth, to you? Like, it's, it's definitely
exactly right.
a thing.
And my favorite type of houses to stage have always been the ones where the sellers decide the way to get top dollar is to move out. And they say, you do your thing. Because I'm always able to surprise and delight them. Because they don't know what's coming. But just something as simple as, I use a lot of fake curtains. So, and you know this, and like, they're not expensive, but most people buy curtains that are too short, and they hang them in the window. And what you're supposed to do to make a room look the biggest and brightest it can be is hang as close to the ceiling as possible, and actually on either side of the window to elongate the size of the window with your eye and make it look big and bright. And if you have naked windows, and I do this with sliders a lot too, which, I mean, it's not practical, but it's a psychological thing. It softens a room. If you're, especially in the desert, if it's tile and a glass slider and there's no textiles, there's nothing soft, some tacked up with tiny little nails, curtains that are meant to flow to the floor on either side, soften the space immediately.
Yeah, you have all these tips, like
I do
about beds.
I do.
So that's so funny you said curtains, because my friend, we were literally talking about how she likes to have a low bed and she doesn't want a headboard, but she just kind of feels like it needs more. And I literally took your thing about curtains, and and I was like, put curtains behind your
the
bed
bed.
and just put a picture in between instead of a window.
Yes.
But it's like creates a headboard feel.
Yes.
And it's like so I literally yesterday
Yes.
I told a friend that, and I got that from you. Like it's like curtains are, right? You know what I mean? Like curtains are everything. And then also at my own house, the window's like off center with my bed because it's like the way that it's older. And so I did it to hide the off balance.
Yes.
So I did the curtains actually not centered to the window. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Yes.
But
No. That's
yeah.
exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I think you taught
because
me that.
it balances the room. It balances your eye. Sometimes it's really easy for me to do and for you to do. I can walk into a space and be like, this is wrong because the bed's here and the window's here. Whereas like you can put a bed in front of a window, especially if it centers everything, and then you can get 2 matching nightstands and 2 matching lamps.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
We could talk endlessly about staging,
Anyway,
but this
yeah.
is very exciting
Yes.
for both of us because this is that missing piece for me of I needed to find a place for all of my treasures and my 7 years of experience and tried and true things. And this is a cash flowing, incredible business. It's not that I'm failing. It's that I just want to go do something else.
Exactly. This is about the evolution.
This is.
You know what you said to me the other day when we talked on the phone and we were talking about something about flying, and you said, you were like, Christina, you were like, you have, do you remember this? I was
Expanded.
like, you have expanded, that's the word. You
Yes.
have expanded, and going back to flying
It's painful.
It's painful.
Yes.
And then I actually thought, because actually that I've had that,
goosebumps.
me too. And that's the same with you.
Yes.
I'm saying staging
Yes.
is now you're expanding.
Yes.
And now you're not going to go backwards to
No,
it, right? It's
I'm
like you're
not.
moving on to the next thing, because going backwards now, thinking like, I'm going to have to stage for the rest of my life.
It's painful.
painful.
This is such a fun, visceral thing to talk about because I got there with flying a little bit before you did, where I was like, what do I do to not have to really be a flight attendant and work 80 hours a month anymore? And I expanded to the point where flying was painful. So I knew I was able to say that to you. So I'm just like a little bit, in 7 years, we're going to be finding a buyer for your staging company.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You're going to be expanding beyond.
Yes, I'm going to be moving to Italy.
Yes, exactly.
Or who knows where, but maybe
I
Bali.
know.
Yeah.
Ooh, Bali.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it about Bali?
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Honestly,
so you're going in June
so
for a month.
my husband's selling his practice, like we talked about, and I thought, what would be the best reset for someone who's been in their career for 17 years and they are like super established in their life and their whole identity is wrapped up in their career. What's a great way to have like a new start and start reimagining your identity? I think a month in Bali is that for my husband. So I've been to Bali, you've been to Bali. I'm bringing my kids and my husband, and we're just going to rent a villa, and it's going to be the marking of his new identity, of his new start. And he's very excited to sell his business, but also a little bit afraid. So much of his identity is wrapped up in it. I think it's a little harder for men. I don't mean to be so general in general.
Yeah.
But it's a little harder for men to leave their
Attached. Well,
careers.
they're very,
Yes.
It's understandable because society does put a lot of like, in America,
He's
the
a
first
provider.
question is, what do you do?
Exactly.
Right?
So that's
it's like,
not the case in Europe or anywhere else.
And it
Who
probably,
are you?
I try to actually not ask that question, even though I find myself falling into it.
I know.
Drives me nuts.
I know.
I really work on it. I really try to say like, oh, what are you excited about these days? Like, what are you into? Like, what's your hobbies? As the first question to ask versus what do you do?
Right.
Because then regardless, and so anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
No.
But-
So Bali's just going to be this perfect break, brand new start, this symbolic thing where we're going as a family and we're literally just going to exist. My dream is, I'll probably open up my laptop and manage the real estate portfolio and do all
of
that.
course.
But it'll be in a cafe. Watching my children play in the rice paddy fields, going to the beach, doing daily family meditations and family walks, and just
in nature.
slowing down.
Yeah, I feel like Bali is a place of nature.
Yes.
100%. It's green. So my favorite part is Ubud.
Oh, mine too.
Right?
It's a vortex.
Yes.
Just like Sedona.
Yes.
There's a few in the world. It's incredible. your soul is at peace in Ubud.
It's incredible, right? So
Yes.
and my favorite thing about it is I just remember walking down these streets, very narrow, like cobblestone, right? Like kind of rocky streets.
Yeah.
And you would think to yourself like, oh, there's not much here. But then you go and you see a restaurant, right? Or you see like a little door and you open the door and then it's just like literally something you would see out of a movie. It's magical. It's
Yes.
green. And they have like a
Yes.
little platform and you all sit on the floor. There's not chairs,
Yes.
right? You like sit on the
Yes.
floor. And then there's this like literally vines, green, hanging with fountains
and flowers everywhere.
ponds, like just like it's like the most. And I have goosebumps.
I know.
Like it's so
magical.
incredible, and it's like behind this door.
You can't explain it. Like you really have to experience it for yourself, and that's the most fun part about travel.
You're gonna have such a great time.
I agree, but you're helping me so much.
Yeah,
This
right.
is incredible.
I'm taking. Maybe I'll fly to Bali and see you guys for a couple days.
Come.
That would be so fun.
That is
I just put my
amazing.
new bestie on my flight attendant
Benefits?
Benefits, yes. And she's a yes girl like us. Like she's like,
Woohoo!
I don't even have to
I'm
ask.
in.
Like, yeah,
Let's
I'm in.
go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So it's going to be an amazing year because I'm going to
agree.
put on, and so I'm like, maybe I'll just whisk her away to Bali with me for a couple days. Like, how fun. Can I say that how we met real quick? Just talking about energy. We have time,
Yes.
just like real quick.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, it is the cutest story. So I was in San Diego. I was leaving one of my best friends at the beach, and come to find out, so was she. She was leaving Mission Bay, and we were driving, and I was in a hurry because I was trying to get to LAX because we were about to go to Ireland. This was back
Yes.
in August.
Yes.
So we were about to go to Ireland. I'm rushing from San Diego to go to LA, and there's traffic, and I'm like, oh God, because I had to drop off my daughter first. So anyway, so there was like, I was missing my exit. So I was in, in my little car, and I was driving on the 5, and there was like a gap, right? So I pull over real quickly, and I kind of was like, oh shit, like I hope the person behind me isn't gonna be mad, because I did kind of like cut her off, but not 100%, you know what I mean? Like, I was like squeezing my way in. Anyway, all of a sudden I didn't even know, and then but we were only going 5 miles an hour.
Right.
Like a little like tap on my bumper. And I was all, oh no. I was all, oh shit. And I looked back, and there's like this big like Yukon big truck and like tinted windows. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, they're going to be pissed. I was like, it's going to be a big burly man, and he's going to be like, why the fuck did you cut me off? Like, sir, like, this is like, so I'm like petrified. So we pull over, and I'm like, okay. And Brooklyn's with me. I'm like, it's okay, B. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, okay, whatever. Probably nothing even happened. So then we get out of the car, and then this most beautiful little like 5'1" yoga goddess. She's like comes out with this flowing hair and her like tattoos and her big earrings, and we both had on like big magical moon earrings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're beautiful. And she's like, no, you're beautiful. and then I was like, are you? I was like, I'm shaking. Are you? And she's like, I am too. And I'm like, can I hug you? And she's like, I've been wanting to hug you since I saw you.
Oh.
And so now we say like our vibrations were so strong. Literally, our cars collided.
I love that.
Yeah,
I have goosebumps. That's amazing.
And we're like, anyway, so now we think that we're probably twin sisters in a past life because we like already finished each other's sentences and stuff. It's really cute. So anyway, that's the one I'm putting on my benefits.
Oh, I think that's wonderful.
So, isn't that amazing?
Come to Bali.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
Love it. Okay, well, episode 6 was a success.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say that.
Yep.
And once again, this is us signing off for episode 6. This is Grace
And Christina.
and this is the By the Damn House podcast.
Bye.
By the Damn House.
Bye. Just bye.